Football, it's all about the numbers. It's a game of two halves, in a match that lasts 90 minutes, played inside four corners of a pitch, in stadiums that can hold 10, 20, 30,000 voices. And in the championship, 3 teams each chase their place to get to the top.
This top 2 fight is nowhere near done.
But only through consistency can you get to where you want to be. That consistency that earns you the 3 points, time and time again.
It's Sheffield United who are the first to make their move. And there's the second goal for Leeds United. Number 3, Connor Roberts. The goals are flying now. And the team that refuses to concede what they came for.
No time to slip.
One mistake, severely punished.
No time to dip. Maintain the pace. Be relentless. Keep winning. Keep winning. But remember, no number sounds as good as this.
Will be all change at the top by about 3 o'clock tomorrow afternoon, because the other 2 of the top 3 in action tomorrow at lunchtime. Scott Parker says he won't be watching. I sincerely hope some people are. Please join us from 11 o'clock. Plymouth against Sheffield United and Leeds Preston, both kicking off at 12:30. So it currently stands, doesn't it? Leeds, Burnley and Sheffield United in this race for automatic promotion. Let's take a look at the odds and the predicted finishes of these 3 teams via Opta. This is their championship predictor, which has got down at the bottom a 91% chance for Leeds to finish in the top 2, 80% chance for Scott Parker and Burnley, and a 29% chance for Chris Wilder and Sheffield United. Chris Iwelumo, what do you make of that?
Yeah, that's very interesting. You know, I think when you look at Burnley, you know, 5 wins in the last 6, they're coming in on very good form. Strange results, you know, for Sheffield United, the last 2 defeats, you know. Surprised at that. I'm expecting a reaction. So much onus goes on to that Burnley-Sheffield United game. It's a must-win, isn't it? Leeds, again, of that pressure. They've started to kind of, you've seen the cracks, but massive result, putting them back on top. So it's going to be interesting, as it always is.
Would you read much into this, Rob, as a player?
I don't think so. No, you'd turn it off straight away, wouldn't you? But
I'd still be trying to work it out.
Yeah, no, I think you've got 3 teams, and out of them, you look at Burnley and look at the identity that they have and how they've gone about their season and how they've gone to win games. Yes, they don't score a lot of goals, but they know how to win games. When it comes to the crunch, when the pressure comes on, that's when you come to your core, your identity, your beliefs, and they've got that in spades.
And the key thing as well, this form at home over the course of the season so far, Chris. Only Newcastle, since the rebrand, have gone through a whole season unbeaten at home in the league. They're not too far away, are they?
No, they're not. I think, like you say, they've got a clear identity. They know what they have to do. I think it's going to be very interesting tonight with the formation of Norwich. You know, I think the wing backs for Norwich have a big job to do. Don't allow Burnley to get a foothold in the game, but they're relentless. No matter what the score is in the game, no matter what happens, they know how to take control of the game.
The pressure really is beginning to crank up at the very top end of the championship. It's a time for cool heads, and do you know what? We've got 2 of the coolest. Don Goodman, Gary Weaver.
Yes, thank you, David. The championship unparalleled again, for drama, for stories, for excitement. It may not be the richest league on the planet, but what it does have is priceless. This is building towards a seismic finale, and even for the championship, this could be off the scale. Three teams in the fight for the top 2. All 3 right now control their own destiny. Their fate lies at their feet. Burnley, English football's Ministry of Defence, are the first to go this weekend. Leeds United and Sheffield United lie in wait, ready to pounce on any Burnley stumble. Crackling turf moor welcomes Burnley and Norwich City. Norwich mathematically are still in the hunt for a top 6 place, a playoff position, but that realistically looks gone for now. Well, as for the teams, James Trafford goes looking for clean sheet number 29 of his championship season. No keeper in English League football has ever kept more than that. At the other end of the pitch, Marcus Edwards' winter arrival has added another dimension to Burnley's attack. Jayden Anthony's switch back to the left side has helped him flourish. The one change to Tuesday's draw at Derby sees Hannibal replace Josh Laurent. Laurent is on the bench, as is Ashley Barnes, who swapped Norwich for Burnley in January. Lyle Foster is out with a shoulder injury. Well, Josh Sargent is given a rest, so Emiliano Marcondes looks set to resume his role through the middle. Norwich switched to a back three, just as they did in the win over West Bromwich Albion. That means a first senior start in English football for Rory McConville, a January signing from Brighton. Borja Sainz has got his eyes on the Golden Boot. He's leading the way right now with 17 for the season. Oscar Schwartau is fit enough to be on the Norwich City bench. So, Jayden Anthony playing on the left-hand side for Burnley. Don, how much of a threat has he become since that switch back to the left?
Yeah, look, I think the signing of Marcus Edwards has allowed him to go over there, and you can see by the numbers, even though he was having a brilliant season prior to that, he has really stepped up a level, certainly in the last 10 games where he's been really creative, and Norwich City are going to have to be really wary of him tonight. We were listening to Johannes Hoff-Torp talking about how he wants more clean sheets. Although he's only had 6 Angus Gunn this season, 2 of them have been in the last 3, and he's played a real vital part in that. And you always feel when a team is going to come up against one of the top 3 this season, they need their goalkeeper to play well, and I don't expect tonight to be any different.
Well, Scott Parker is a championship grandmaster, going for 3 promotions from 3 seasons as a boss in the championship. He is looking to prove himself on the Premier League stage. He's got nothing left to prove in this league. But he has been very vocal in saying he does not want to climb aboard the championship roller coaster. Up 1 minute, down the next. It's not for Scott Parker. He's learnt that throughout his time with Fulham and Bournemouth, albeit it was mostly up with those 2 in this league. Now he's hoping to take Burnley up. Norwich City potentially green with envy, seeing what Burnley potentially could be achieving this season. But a test for Norwich tonight to see just how far they are from the likes of Burnley.
Well, the harsh reality for Norwich is that they've had 9 goes against teams in the top 5 this season, and they haven't managed a single win, just 3 draws. And you just wonder whether that is an indicator of where Norwich have found themselves, where they are in this project, and they really must not let this season to drift away from them, Norwich City. It's okay having a project with a new man in charge, but in order to get the time, you need results.
Burnley's first foray forward, it goes just behind Zian Fleming. As Anthony looked to threaten early on here. Confirmation Norwich City have started with a back 3, back 5 here, just as they did in the late win over West Bromwich Albion, when Johannes Hoff-Torp was all about the result, not the performance. Because he knows his Norwich team have been conceding too many goals this season, which means they aren't really now in the top 6 fight.
Oh, he's really unlucky. It's a really good run from Jayden Anthony there. It's unfortunate Zian Fleming in his quest to get ahead of Shane Duffy actually runs past that near post and past the ball, but that's a little warning shot for Norwich City there.
Burnley looking to profit from this early free kick here. 2 centre-backs are forward, Egan Riley and Maxime Esteve. Hannibal's in there too. Signal from Edwards. Sent in over the head of Fleming and over the head of everybody in there.
Yeah, it's a little disappointing, isn't it, really? They'll really be looking to test Norwich when they get these set pieces, because it is an area that Norwich have really struggled with defending set pieces this season.
Yeah, not their strong suit. What is a strong suit for Burnley is how they have kept clean sheet after clean sheet as a team. Not just about the defence and the keeper, it's the team as a whole. Perez makes his way forward. Jayden Anthony over the head of, again, Zian Fleming, who's waiting in there, but a positive start here from Burnley.
Yeah, it's interesting, isn't it, that in the space of the opening 3 minutes, there have been a few situations over on that left-hand side where Jayden Anthony is.
Scott Parker believes he's more mature, of course, with age now than he was when the two were promoted together at Bournemouth as Norwich look to play out from the back. We've seen this before from Norwich City. We've seen them get themselves into real bother with this before. They get the free kick that time.
This was the last time I saw them. It was only 4 games ago, and it was at Ashton Gate, Bristol City, where they shot themselves in the foot trying to play risky football like this. It's a huge gamble. I do think what I saw that night was a really good team in the middle third and the final third, the attacking third. They took too many risks in the defensive third.
And the key, Wells punished them that particular night. Sainz with the layoff there.
This, for me, is what they've got to work on, getting the ball into these attacking areas without taking such crazy risks.
And a chance here for Norwich to test Burnley with this long throw. Rory McConville, making his first senior league start in English football, hurls that ball in. He actually made his Brighton debut against Norwich in the FA Cup back in January, and Norwich ended up signing him. Another player who's come through at Linfield under David Healy. Kenny McLean hunted down quickly. The referee has played the advantage. Rob Jones is the referee tonight. In fact, it's Tony Hamilton. Looking to attack Burnley's left side here, and James Trafford happy to see that bounce away from his goal. Marcondes took aim.
Well, everything I said, everything I thought about Norwich City, when they get the ball in these areas, they are a really, really good team. Only Leeds United have scored more goals than them. They will pose questions to this amazing Burnley defence.
"29 clean sheets for Burnley. They've conceded just 12 goals in 41 championship games this season. What we are seeing is something special. But Norwich City are looking to try and breach the seemingly unbreachable.
Incredible record. I'm not sure we'll ever see anything like it again, if I'm honest with you. Certainly haven't seen anything like it before.
Sent in by Kenny McLean. Duffy stumbles. There's Brownhill. Open challenge from Fisher. That's what he's all about.
He's very old school, isn't he? Callum Fisher certainly likes a tackle. That will only endear him to the fans.
Yeah, came through at Burnley when they were a non-league club, Callum Fisher. He can mix it. Fleming looking to make the move for that. Duffy in charge. A place he knows well following his time here at Burnley, Shane Duffy. Perez trying to slide it through to Jayden Anthony. A baton picked up here by Hannibal. Bit of room for Brownhill. Now Connor Roberts. Loose from him, and now he is out of the picture. Here's Kenny McLean. Another player slipping. That time it was Marcus Edwards. Sainz looks to be offside. And is. Well, Norwich got themselves into a really good position.
Oh, it's brilliant from Kenny McLean. Frustrating, really, from Borja Sainz. He needs to understand that he's beyond the final defender. Once he gets into that position, he has to try and get himself back on side. It's a really decent situation.
Burnley work so hard on making sure they can't be counter-attacked upon. Ian Fleming leaves his calling card there, and Burnley get themselves a corner. Jayden Anthony standing over this. Esteve is at the far post. Ian Fleming makes the move towards the near post, but it's played relatively short. Top of the shoulder now from Edwards.
Well, that is way too easy for Burnley to find space to end up with a strike at goal. There's so much room for Marcus Edwards there. Norwich are fortunate that it's on his slightly weaker right foot. Gets plenty of power. Can't quite keep it on target.
Well, Burnley ready to go with a press of 5 here. Followed by Angus Gunn. There's Esteve. Egan Riley. And there's Hannibal. Now Perez. He's been in the battle with Bashir Humphreys for that left-back spot all season. Humphreys has been out injured of late. Chance of Brownhill to motor forward here. Roberts. Brownhill. There's Marcus Edwards. Now Connor Roberts. Edwards again. Esteve. Right now surrounded in their defensive third, but keeping Burnley at arm's length.
So this is the new Norwich. They want to be tighter. They want to be a bit more compact. And the opposition have got the ball.
Johannes Hoftorp, the Norwich City head coach, felt they were conceding goals too easily, even back in pre-season. The alarm bells were ringing for him then. What they've done, as Don mentioned further up the pitch, has been excellent this season. It's just keeping clean sheets and not conceding sloppy goals has been a bit of a problem for them. Problem he's looking to fix in the summer.
This fella here has been heavily involved. You can see clearly they're getting the ball out to his side of the pitch. He looks a threat already in the opening 10 minutes.
And the confidence coursing through the veins of Jayden Anthony right now. There's Esteve. Perez. Possession right now are a 5-4-1.
So they want more clean sheets, and I think they want to be harder to play against for those top teams that we mentioned. That record that they've got against the top 5, it's been pretty easy for those teams to play against Norwich City.
It's not the way he wants his teams to play, to be defensively minded. He wants them to play with imagination, attack, everything we have seen at the front end of the pitch. And Norwich, as we said, has got to work on the defensive side of it.
It has to be a balance, doesn't it? And they didn't have that. Conceding goals was a problem last season. They conceded 64. So it's not been an area that he's been able to improve as of yet. If they want success next season, they need look no further than tonight's opponents.
They are 9 points off the playoffs coming into this tonight on Norwich City, which is why mathematically it's not over yet, but highly unlikely.
So we go with reality. It is over. Do you think Josh Sargent would be rested tonight if it wasn't over? I don't think so.
Yeah, 3 games in 6 days. A little bit too much for the American striker right now with the injury problems he's had in the past. Josh Sargent sits and waits.
Of course, that's going to be one of the other problems for Norwich City, isn't it? As they go to rebuild again in the summer, it's keeping hold of the likes of him.
Another who was rested tonight and on the Norwich bench. There's Connor Roberts for Burnley.
Well, I think they will know that these are the kind of games that that Burnley have struggled in, is when teams have sat in a bit of a low block. Found it hard. A lot of them 0-0 draws they had were against teams that did that.
It was a lovely ball to pick out Marcus Edwards, but Norwich put a full stop to that. Quick to recover possession. Edwards involved again. Here's Brownhill. Now Cullen. Perez. There's Jayden Anthony, and able to smuggle it through that time to Perez. Another robust challenge from Kellen Fisher. Almost felt that up here.
That's 2 already.
It's an intelligent run and a brilliant goal. Hannibal with the dash in behind. He was fine beautifully. And that's the way to break a low block. It's becoming routine. But Burnley out in front. An unbreachable, unbreakable Turf Moor. And now Norwich have to do one of the toughest jobs in Europe. Score against Burnley.
Oh, it's absolutely brilliant. But what a ball. You've got to remember who this is going over. It's McConville. He's a tall lad. And so the pass has to be absolutely perfect. And it is. And Hannibal reaps the reward of being aggressive in his running, runs in behind, super chest control, and stays really, really calm. Gives Angus Gunn in the goal absolutely no chance. And you're right, given the defensive record of Burnley, finding a way to beat them when they've scored first, it's been impossible for a long time in the Championship.
Burnley breakthrough, Hannibal's finish. With a fabulous ball over the top from Cullen to find him. And Hannibal did the rest. An early lead for Burnley at Turf Moor. Here's the Norwich response. Kenny McLean with the cross, and Trafford holds on. But there was a moment of encouragement there for Kellen Fisher, who found himself in a bit of space.
Oh, it's brilliant from McLean. Unfortunately for Norwich, it's probably the wrong person on the end of that cross. It's a very tame header in the end. But it's a chance.
Yeah, one wing back to the other. This is what it means right now. Burnley go top. The leadership changed hands 3 times last week. It's changed hands already tonight.
It's been synonymous with this race for the top 2, hasn't it? With 3 different leaders in a 4-day spell from last Saturday to Tuesday. Remarkable. Just so nobody underestimates the size of the task facing Norwich. It's a very impressive winning percentage, isn't it, when they score first.
And Burnley fans right now not singing about promotion, but singing about becoming champions. There's Cullen. Perez, Cullen again. I always feel that when Burnley do strike first, the players can relax a little bit because they know what they can do defensively. It's all about trying to break through a deep sitting defence as it has been tonight.
There was a fear, weren't there, away at Derby County. It was always going to be a difficult game, but they rarely mustered a scoring opportunity, really, and it was a fear that going back to old habits, but they've quickly dispelled that. They had scored in the 7 previous games, by the way, and plenty of goals to boot.
Yeah, Derby gave as good as they got at Pride Park in that game on Tuesday. Angus Gunn with eyes on that and hands on it. Norwich themselves had a goalless draw on Tuesday against Sunderland, a really entertaining game at Carrow Road. Norwich had the better of it in the first half, created chances. Sunderland got a grip in the second. Jayden Anthony, Edwards, only with a man down as Norwich looked to that ball bouncing inside the box.
I think it's Hannibal, isn't it?
Well, we've seen the smile on his face a few moments ago, now it's anguish for Hannibal.
Yeah, I think it was a blow to the unmentionables, I think.
Don't mention them now. Well, this is a better moment for Hannibal.
Yeah, but he spots the space. He makes a little run. He's prompted, isn't he, by Cullen. They reap the rewards of a super ball. Brilliant control and an excellent finish. It's an outstanding goal from a Burnley perspective, but when you have 3 central defenders, I don't think you should be conceding goals like that, if I'm honest with you.
His first goal for Burnley, a moment to remember for Hannibal. I wondered how long before he moved away from that shot. But Cullen showing what he is capable of with that inch-perfect pass over the top.
Brilliant, wasn't it? And just going back to that record when they score first, 20 wins and 1 draw. It was the old derby against Blackburn Rovers, wasn't it, back in August? And even then, it took a worldie of a goal from Andy Vyman to deny them the win.
Remember when Scott Parker arrived here late on in the summer, Burnley had lost their Premier League status. They, of course, had lost their head coach in Vincent Kompany, who headed off to Bayern Munich, and then they lost half their team.
Yeah, and that's the reason I don't think Scott Parker really gets the credit that he probably deserves, to be honest with you. Took over a bit of a mess of a club, really, one that was relegated pretty tamely. As you said, 25 players left. 18 came in. It's not easy to put that together, but he's done a brilliant job here.
Hannibal is back with us. That's Sorensen. There's Shane Duffy. Fleming leading the Burnley charge. Duffy again. Straight to Connor Roberts. Edwards. Space on the left flank again here for Burnley. Here's Hannibal. Anthony's ahead of him. It's Jayden Anthony trying to smuggle it through to Ian Fleming as Burnley move up the gears again.
And that's what I meant when you have 3 central defenders, about not conceding a goal like that, because this should have happened for the goal. Shane Duffy recognises that his partner's in trouble and gets himself across as the spare man. Excellent defending.
Norwich potentially could be tested here from another Burnley set piece. And they go short to pick out Edwards. There's Anthony again. Now Brownhill. Brownhill lifts the ball over the top last time, away by Cordoba. Edwards, there's Perez. Now Brownhill. Anthony. Perez. Another Burnley corner.
Slowly cranking the pressure up here, aren't they, the home team?
He's enjoying his best ever goal-scoring season right now. 13 for the campaign. Josh Brownhill, including the winner at Carrow Road back in December against Norwich. There's quite a few things happening just outside the box here. Should Burnley elect to take that route? More straightforward one that time. A little bit trying to get to it. Moved on by Sorensen. There's a high boot there, and Norwich get the free kick. There's Brownhill. Only closing in again. It's Jaden Anthony. Deflected! That's the kind of look you get when you're right at the top. Burnley are thriving on the pressure tonight, and they are turning up the heat right now on those around them.
Well, another self-inflicted goal conceded by Norwich City because they give the ball away. And as a head coach, you just cannot legislate for things like that. We saw it at Bristol City. We're seeing it again tonight. It's Kenny McLean trying to get on with it quickly, but he's telegraphed it. Brownhill intercepts it, and yes, of course, a massive amount of luck as it deflects off Shane Duffy. But it's a Norwich City free kick that ends up in the back of their own net. We've seen this play before, and it ain't pretty, but Burnley don't care. Not a single team has scored more than a goal against them all season. If it was a mountain before, I don't know what it is now.
You've left me with that one, but here come Burnley again. Zian Fleming stepping into space. Fleming, who, as we know, is more than capable from distance. Norwich City know all about that, but unable to deliver that time. Norwich, though, just need to try and clear their heads here.
Yeah, again, they're inviting the press, they're inviting the pressure. Misplace a pass, and again, it ends up in an opponent having a shot at their goal. Has to be a better way to do it. Has to be.
Yeah, defensively, Norwich City's season in a nutshell. They switched to a back five again tonight, so those kind of things wouldn't happen. That was the hope anyway. Burnley right now, I've got Norwich City surrounded. Right with the free kick for Norwich. Well, he's been brought in for the long term to take Norwich City back to the Premier League, as long term as you can be in football these days. He's hoping to lay foundations for what he can build on next season. Jack Wilshere, part of his coaching staff at Carrow Road.
This is what I'm saying, they must not let this season just drift away. They need to finish it as strongly as they possibly can, and they've got Portsmouth, Millwall, Middlesbrough and Cardiff still to play, and they, all four of them, are fighting for something.
Yeah, Norwich will have a huge say on the fate of others, potentially. But right now, this is Burnley's game. Estev. There's Connor Roberts. Edwards. He was in talks with Sunderland before making the switch to Burnley in January from Sporting Lisbon. The Scott Parker factor delivered. Scott Parker coached him as a youngster at Tottenham, and Scott Parker was taking his coaching badges. Edwards won't be found that time. Sliding Kenny McLean gets to it. Egan Riley. There's McConville. Now Shane Duffy. Cordoba. There's Cordoba again. Now Kenny McLean. He did operate at left back against Sunderland on Tuesday. A left wing back here tonight.
He's looking for a forward pass there, Kenny McLean, as he will do probably here. Look, you need runners. You need movement ahead of the ball. And that's where Josh Sargent comes in, isn't it?
See 2 quick-fire goals in their defeat against Plymouth Argyle last week. Josh Sargent scored an absolute beauty in that game in the 2-1 win for Plymouth Argyle. There's Cullen. Brownhill. Now Roberts. He hadn't made the run through the middle, but Brownhill elected to hold on. Cullen tries to pick out Edwards, and again the target has been found beautifully. There's Roberts. Brownhill. Slimani. That's right. Duffy. There's Jacob Wright again, who has been a positive since his loan move in January. He was set to sign for Swansea until that broke down and Norwich stepped in. Duffy. Wayward from him.
Well, we saw the graphic that showed that Burnley were going down that side of the pitch an awful lot. It's been very, very productive for him. And when you look at that, the one thing that stands out is that every single touch has been in Norwich City's half. Very, very positive from Jayden Anthony.
Yeah, spell out on loan last season with Jayden Anthony at Leeds. He admits he found it tough at the start of this season to try and get his feet going again because of the kind of small amount of football and small amount of games he had started in the last campaign. But he right now is at full throttle. There's Edwards. Now Cullen. Egan Riley fired with pace to Edwards, who's bundled over. A Burnley free kick. They wanted to take it quickly. Cordoba makes sure that they didn't.
Yeah, he's lucky, really. I think earlier in the season he might have got a yellow card for that, Cordoba. Delaying the restart. They were quite hot on that, the officials, earlier this season. See, Edwards gets up and he looks, and Cordoba does that. Should have been a yellow.
Angus Gunn, who's had a spell out of the Norwich team, injured. His contract finishes this season. He builds his wall. Anthony and Edwards are the two who are looking at this. And it goes from Anthony, who tempts Gunn off his line, and it could have been a lot worse there for Angus Gunn and Norwich City.
Yeah, I think Angus Gunn does just enough here. Teased in, it's a beautiful delivery. Yeah, he just gets there, gets something on it.
Interesting to see if he renews his contract at Carrow Road, if he gets the offer to renew his deal at Carrow Road, Angus Gunn, in the summer. Traffic goes long. Sorensen loses out. Here's Ian Fleming. Burnley on the front foot again. Fleming took aim. It deflects behind for a Burnley corner.
Well, he's hungry for goals, isn't he? I think against Derby County they mustered 7 shots. Well, 6 of them were from him. He has got a strike on himself. Wins the ball back again.
Well, he's involved there. Esteve. Burnley weren't hanging around, and Esteve was almost there to pounce.
Well, he has a little growl at himself. Possibly should be 3-0 here again. Quickly taken corner. It's really well worked. It's a lovely little knockdown by Fleming. And again, possibly the wrong player on the end of it.
Big score against Cardiff City a few weeks ago. Maxime Esteve unable to repeat the feat there. But he's got enough credit in the bank for what he's done at the other end of the pitch.
Yeah, just a bit.
Marcondes hits the deck and gets the free kick. And the yellow card is coming away here of Cullen.
Yeah, I think he's broken up a promising situation. Had he not fouled, it's Josh Cullen, isn't it? Had he not fouled Emiliano, Norwich would have had a promising attack. That's why he's seen a yellow card.
Cullen, who knows the way to the winners' podium in this league, having done it under Vincent Kompany a couple of seasons ago. And Burnley racked up 101 points. They're on course still to get 100, as are Leeds. Sheffield United with that 2-point deduction means the most they can reach is 98. And they've still got to come here on Easter Monday.
Well, they might need 98 as well. That's how daft it is. I certainly think 90, that was 3rd last season, I don't think that'll be enough this season.
That's why the 3 contenders still have their destiny in their own hands, because Burnley face Sheffield United here on Easter Monday. Cullen looking to try and set Edwards away. He's in combat here with Kenny McLean. McLean's done well and comes out on top. Quickly again here as Norwich try and play themselves out of a tight spot. No messing about from Cordoba. Esteve in the way. Cullen hunted down quickly by Slimani. Beautifully done by Egan Riley. And Hannibal takes the hit.
When they give the ball away, the way they hunt it down and win it back, and it involves everybody, literally, defenders, midfielders, forwards. Outstanding.
Yeah, if you talk to the other managers and head coaches in this league who have to face Burnley, they'll always say the Burnley players don't cheat. Every single one of them has to get back and join the defensive station. And the recovery runs are so important to get back, form a block,
and keep the opposition out.
And that's why they're reaping the rewards, that defensive record. Incredible. Leicester City were champions last season, conceded 41. It's balmy what Burnley are doing.
Keep the clean sheet tonight. They will move alongside Port Vale. He's keeping the most clean sheets in a league season in English football. It will be clean sheet number 30 in the Championship. Port Vale racked up 30 in the 1950s.
I dare say that was fewer games as well, was it?
Yeah, in terms of the average for goals conceded per game right now, Burnley are out there on their own. 0.29 per game.
Well, I did have a look at the last 10 years of the Championship to see what the best defensive record was, and it was Watford in 2020-21. They conceded 30 goals. I thought that was good till this season.
It's because it was. Borja Sainz gives chase to this. Borja Sainz! And from a Norwich perspective, it falls the wrong side of the post, but he was in for a second.
Well, there it is. That forward run, times it to perfection. He's going to be disappointed. I think he tries the right kind of a finish. He tries to lift it over James Trafford, but he just doesn't wrap his foot around it. And that is a huge opportunity to get Norwich back into this game.
Well, it's a moment of encouragement for Norwich City, that they can breach that Burnley back line. A clever run from Borja Sainz.
Well, I already praised Jadon Anthony, but how about this from Josh Cullen? Is it 36, 37 passes? He's completed every single one. And by the way, look at some of the forward passes there. They're not little 5-10 yard sidewards passes. Outstanding.
One of yours?
No, definitely not, no.
Don never passed. There's Cordoba. Now Kenny McLean. Let's not forget Norwich City have got the second best attack in the Championship, second only to Leeds with the 62 goals they've racked up this season. Foul committed by Cullen, who just needs to be careful.
Yeah, he has to be careful. He really commits to going for this, and he gets it wrong. Oh, I tell you what, cannot afford another one of them. And then you wonder, will Scott Parker remove the danger of a red card?
He's such a key element of this team, Josh Cullen.
Yeah, it wasn't a great tackle, to be fair. Clean through the back. See, it's because he's gambled. See, he thinks he can get in front of Sorensen, and he can't, and he catches him quite hard. But there is always a slightly higher threshold for a second yellow card, and that is probably what's saved Josh Cullen there.
Well, Jakob Sorensen back on his feet. Still in a spot of bother here. So Sorensen leaves the field for now. It's a midfield which has changed quite a bit as the season has gone on under Johannes Hoff-Torp. Injury to Nunez played a part in that. He's on the Norwich bench tonight. He's forward here, goes beyond him. McConville got to it, but committed the foul.
Probably couldn't have gone much better for Scott Parker and Burnley. It's been relatively comfortable. Just the one real scare on Borja Sainz.
Well, he said around about the January window time, Scott Parker, that albeit he is proud of their defensive record, but he didn't really want his team to be known for that, which is why he did make inroads to sign attackers in January, most notably Marcus Edwards, who has added an extra dimension to Burnley, the front end of the pitch.
We already pointed it out. It allowed Jadon Anthony, didn't it, to go onto the other side, where Lyle Taylor had been operating. He's probably more of a striker.
Cordoba in the way initially, and then Hannibal got to it, but couldn't quite convert. It was almost 3 for Burnley.
Oh, he's been disappointed. He hasn't found the corner again. They win the ball back in Norwich's final third, and they play it perfectly. See what he's trying to do. He's just trying to pass it into the corner. Angus Gunn well beaten. Post to the rescue.
Well, Norwich force into this change. Marcelino Nunez, who was given a breather here tonight, he comes on to replace the injured Jakob Sorensen. So Sorensen unable to continue after that challenge from Josh Cullen. Sorensen's night is over, and Nunez comes on.
Yeah, you saw the force of it. Painful one. The situation that Norwich sit here in, it's not worth any kind of risk, is it really?
Well, he's another key element of this Norwich City team is Marcelino Nunez. A fear again that he'll be wanted by others in the summer, like Sargent, like Sainz. Norwich City's resolve may well be tested. Emiliano Marcondes is making his point.
Busy few minutes. It's clearly a handball. I'm not sure what he's complaining about, Josh Brownhill.
Well, I think Norwich were claiming that Brownhill knew that he was kicking the ball away there as well. I think that was what Emiliano Marcondes was trying to say to the referee. As we head into 4 additional minutes at the end of the first half, Burnley well in control here. Duffy makes a move for that and gets his head on it, but the flag is up. If ever there was a picture that a defender had to race back the whole length of the pitch, that was it.
Still not back.
Don't blame him. There's Edwards. Fleming's ahead of him. He picks out Zian Fleming. And just turned into trouble.
Another nearly moment for Zian Fleming.
Slimani for Norwich. He's trying to release Borja Sainz, away by Perez. Again, Burnley able to dash back in numbers.
I think he'll rest easier if Burnley can get a third. 2-0, it's the age-old one, isn't it? If Norwich can get the next goal in this game, may be able to play on the nerves a little bit of Burnley.
There's Duffy. Kenny McLean. Now Cordoba. McLean again. Nunez away from Fleming. Wayward from him. But again, you saw the work there of Ian Fleming, who will step back and help defend from the front. Tomorrow you can see Sheffield United at Plymouth Argyle. Leeds host Preston on Sky Sports Plus. Wrexham hunting a place in the Championship. Likewise Wycombe. Plenty more to come from the EFL this weekend on Sky Sports. As we head towards the break, this is how it looks right now at the top end of the Championship. Burnley had to bide their time to make their way back to the top. Last week, and they're standing there again right now.
It's always the aim, isn't it, when you play first, to put the pressure on those that are in the race with you. They're well on the way to doing that here, Burnley.
Spins off the head of Egan Riley, and Esteve is backing up his centre-back partner. Side by side on the pitch and side by side in the car on the way to training and back every day, those two. They live in the same apartment block in Manchester. Spend a lot of time in each other's company, and it's helped build that connection on the pitch. Norwich caught offside. An air of quiet satisfaction around Turf Moor right now, from a Burnley perspective. The summit is waiting for Burnley. They lead at the break by 2-0. Wonderful goal opened up Norwich, finished off by Hannibal. Great ball from Josh Cullen. And then Jaden Anthony's deflected effort made it 2. Hannibal has also hit the post. Norwich City's best moment. Borja Sainz racing through, but his finish from a Norwich perspective ended up on the wrong side of the post. Half-time, Burnley 2, Norwich City 0.
Day 2 of the Masters has finished very well indeed for Rory McIlroy, just 2 off the lead after his round in Augusta today. Certainly hotting up at the very top of the leaderboard there. That's live now. The Masters round 2, Sky Sports Golf and Sky Sports main event. Back to our main event, and there is a change in the air. We spoke about this before the game, didn't we, with regards to him not starting, Josh Sargent. He's now got 45 minutes to try and right the wrongs of the first half for the Canaries. Briefly, Chris, good decision?
It should have started.
Yeah.
You know, if they're managing something, it's better for a player to go into a game, get a warm-up. Now he got up to speed very, very quickly.
Okay, let's see what Josh Sargent can do with his Norwich City teammates in the second half. As I said, Burnley 2-0 up, and so far they are cruising back to the top of the Championship. Back to Turf Moor now. Don Goodman and Gary Weaver.
Thank you, David. So Josh Sargent on, Rory McConville off, and Norwich go back to a back 4. That's the switch which has been made at half-time by Johannes Hoff-Torup. Last weekend, Burnley went up for the first time since October with the win against Coventry. Coventry, who made sure Burnley didn't have it all their own way in that game. Scott Parker always likes a win against Coventry, a boyhood Tottenham fan. Coventry broke his heart in the 1987 FA Cup final. And right now, Burnley on course to go top again, and they have a free kick in a position of threat right at the start of the second half.
Well, I should imagine Ian Fleming will be desperate to get a hold of this.
He's not letting anyone else have a grip. Scored a fabulous free kick here at the other end of the pitch against Bristol City. Ian Fleming, and he scored a wonderful goal at Carrow Road as well from a free kick which was moved to him, and he smashed it home back in December. It's his ball, and no one else can have a kick. Maybe we're about to see why. Rifles is all, of course. Rolls it to Edwards. Now Roberts. Riley losing out. And this is where we potentially see the recovery runs of this Burnley team and the hunger to win it back.
Brilliant, isn't it? Absolutely brilliant. Well, they got their one chance, didn't they, Norwich, or the biggest chance. Bor Hassan's making a clever run in behind that Burnley back four. Well, that is something that Josh Sargent really excels at, so they'll have to be switched on, as good as they are, those Burnley defenders here.
Yeah, he's arguably the best striker in the Championship, Josh Sargent.
All-rounder, isn't he?
So a chance for him to give Norwich City a bit more punch in attack. And now, as you mentioned, they've reverted to a normal back four system. Pires gets there ahead of Marcondes. There's Slimani. Options either side. Slimani allowed to carry the ball a long, long way. The flag goes up here. Norwich are caught offside.
Yeah, again, everything is good except the timing of the run and the timing of the pass. And they have to be all married up there. Slimani, who's carrying the ball, and Signs, and they have to work out when the pass needs to go. You can see it's a good yard or so offside, and it's a promising situation again that results in absolutely nothing.
A reminder too, if you missed it, that Norwich did lose Jakob Sorensen to injury in the first half. He was replaced by Marcelino Nunez. Off the head of Wright. There's Wright again. Edwards gets to it. Burnley will have an obligation to make his move permanent should they win promotion. Likewise, Jayden Anthony. Zian Fleming initially protected the ball really well, needed a bit of help. Norwich managed to hunt him down, and Cordoba just about gets away from Fleming. Ball by Kenny McLean. Sargent has made the run in behind. The flag stays down. There's Sargent. As Norwich look to threaten. Well, they'll keep it alive. Interesting. There's Fisher. Nunez. Duffy. Cordoba. But again, it's that kind of movement that Josh Sargent provides.
It's excellent.
Just give Burnley a bit more to think about in the second half. Nunez with the cross.
Well, right on cue, we spoke about him excelling. His movement is so clever. Sees where the space is. Esteve steps out, but Egan Riley doesn't. And that just gets Norwich in behind. Again, good choice. Can be a threat to Burnley.
And he's right in there. Cordoba and Duffy also ready to pounce potentially here for Norwich. It's back to Kenny McLean. Cordoba tries to get to it. And he's holding his head here. Here's the Norwich defender.
There may have been a high boot in there. And it was a delayed hold of the head, wasn't it? Defender takes a risk. Brave referee to give a penalty for that, wouldn't it? Here, against Burnley.
Don't know what you mean. Cordoba, though, did score with a near post header from a corner kick when these two met at Carrow Road back in December, before Burnley turned it around and came away with a 2-1 win, having been hit early by Cordoba's goal. Duffy. Nunez. There's Sargent. Moved on by Slimani. Ball has sights. Straight to Brownhill. Away by Roberts. Duffy steps in. Bit more about Norwich here. Nunez. Sargent involved again. They are much more comfortable in this system.
I would say there's a lot more about Norwich, and all of a sudden the natives down below as first sort of real concerns.
And Slimani again. Duffy steps forward. Kellen Fisher. He's had to show his versatility in recent weeks, whether playing at right back or left back. Spelling midfield this season as well. Often moves there from his right back position. McLean fist forward but straight to Trafford.
Yeah. Well, look, it's been a much better Norwich City. They're getting Marcelino Nunez on the ball, and they've got the runs of Josh Sargent, and all of a sudden feels like a different game.
Well, he said that their season wouldn't be defined on whether they make the top 6 or not. Johannes Torup, it would be defined on player development, the culture at Carrow Road as well. Ronel Hernandez missing again tonight. Internal disciplinary matter.
As I said, it's okay having a project, but you do need results to give yourself time to put your plans in place. And I suspect the recruitment this summer is going to be massive for Norwich.
Saints finds Slimani. Here's Nunez, who can hit them from distance. Wants the corner, and he gets the corner.
Well, it's only going to take a Norwich goal here to have this whole place nervous as heck. Again, on the front foot, Nunez seeing an awful lot of the ball, probably too much for Burnley's liking.
Hannibal doing the defending. It's a better watch for those Norwich City fans who made that long journey up to East Lancashire behind that goal. Nunez. Now the break could be on for Burnley. There's Hannibal, who struck the first tonight. Trying to release Jaden Anthony. Gunn takes up a high position. Fleming hits the deck and gets the free kick.
Yeah, I think he buys the free kick.
Well, he's had to adapt to this number 9 role, Ian Fleming. The season has gone on. There's Anthony. He's away from Marcondes. Pires. Sainz was the out ball, but he was being watched by Egan Riley. Now Cullen. Edwards. This is Brownhill. Esteve. It's Anthony. He's backed up by Hannibal. There's Esteve. He did start out as a winger when he moved to central defence a few years ago. Maxime Esteve.
Good decision, I'd say.
Jaden Anthony, the target here, and he slips at the vital moment. The ball won back by Ian Fleming. Here come Burnley again. Pires. Fleming able to take the ball with him as he spun.
Oh, it's a shame. It was a brilliant situation. He's picked out beautifully. First touch was good. Studs didn't do the trick.
Esteve steps in again. There's Hannibal. Pires on the outside. Edwards, faced by Kenny McLean. McLean with more to do here. Fleming closing in. Duffy managed to get to it. Again, Burnley win the ball back quickly.
This is much better. Last couple of minutes from Burnley.
Yeah, it looks like they just readjusted now to the Norwich readjustment. Anthony. Here's Marcondes. Morgan Riley keeping a close watch on Borja Sainz, who's done well. Sargent. Marcondes. The touch from right. Here's Cordoba. Nunez. Slimani. Being held up by Roberts, but illegally so.
Well, he's having a super game, Jadon Anthony, but just for this one moment, I would have wished his studs would have held him upright, because he had a shooting chance there.
Suffered promotion heartbreak with Leeds last season, Jadon Anthony, but a promotion winner alongside Scott Parker at Bournemouth. That season, Bournemouth had the best defence in the Championship.
They did. The defence of Fulham when he was there, it wasn't a bad record. It was one of the, I think, top 4.
30-odd goals they conceded during his time in the Championship at Bournemouth, which is miles away from the 12 they've conceded so far this season. We may have mentioned it a few times. The ball has just crept out. Well, Roberts could get to it. There's Duffy. McLean. Norwich haven't been top 6 all season. The closest they got was 7th position a few months ago now. They did make that late dash last season to make the playoffs before falling 2 leads in the semi-finals. Roberts has gone down here. And the yellow card for Borja Sainz.
Well, only he will know what kind of intent there is there. I'm not sure he's anywhere near Connor Roberts' face, though, is he?
And of course, Norwich had to make do for a lengthy spell without him, as he served a 6-game ban earlier this season. Borja Sainz. Perez on the outside. Hannibal looking to spin. He has done. Hannibal! He was quickly closed down, but clever feet, quick feet initially.
Well, I think that would have trumped his first goal, wouldn't it? Because the skill in a very tight area, absolutely wonderful feet, and a good block in the end.
Well, he's had his big moments, could have had a couple. Hit the post towards the end of the first half, and he was quickly pounced upon there. And as so often they do, move the corner short. Here's Connor Roberts. Too much on that. And it comes to nothing. Scott Parker is a head coach who, after a difficult, brief time at Club Brugge in Belgium, when he walked into a fractured, difficult dressing room, he's returned to English football and the Championship. Right now, he's working his magic again. Some of the players in The first meeting back in the summer that they would dominate possession, they would play a positional game, and they would call the tune in games. At times they are patient in possession and like to quicken things up when they see the opportunity. And right now it's taken them to the top of the championship. Gunn will get to this just ahead of Jayden Anthony, who's in close attendance.
It's purely accidental, isn't it? Jayden Anthony. I think Angus Gunn knows that. Well, it feels like Burnley have weathered that storm, doesn't it? At the start of the second half, they were excellent. Norwich really front-footed, pushing Burnley back. It just feels like a while ago now.
Well, as we know, Burnley are so good at seeing out this kind of situation in games this season. Estev comes through the crowd to win that header. That's a popular
They're
Angus
sympathetic, aren't they?
You know who? Cordoba. There's Slimani. Now Kenny McLean, who's done well. Cordoba once more. Callum Fisher wriggles away from Jayden Anthony.
Again, another indicator of the work ethic, though. Jayden Anthony's been doing that all season for Burnley, as has everybody else.
They did go over 1,000 minutes of league football without conceding, Burnley, before they were eventually breached at Cardiff City. Fisher. Cordoba. McLean, Borja Sainz has tiptoed in again here. He's onside, and he's stopped in his tracks by Estev.
He looked offside to me. He looked like he'd gone early again.
Well, no matter, Maxime Estev was there to the rescue for Burnley. Not for the first time this season.
But those are the kind of runs they've got to keep making. Sargent and Sainz keep making those runs.
There's another one from Borja Sainz. This time the flag does go up.
Yeah, I'm not really sure why that ball was chipped forward rather than rolled along the ground. It's a good situation again. Just roll it along the ground. I mean, it's a tight one. It certainly doesn't get the benefit of the doubt there, Borja Sainz.
Player that Norwich City signed for absolutely nothing from Turkish football, having had eyes on him during his time in Spain, Borja Sainz. Estev. And the free kick has gone the way of Burnley.
The yellow card has gone the way of Ben Slimani for simulation, and rightly so.
Yeah, the referee not too far away from that. Yellow card for Anis Slimani. Another Norwich City change here. Jack Stacey is coming on to replace Emiliano Marcondes. Started out tonight on the top line, the attacking line for Norwich, Emiliano Marcondes. Now he's off and Jack Stacey is on, and for now he'll be playing ahead of Callum Fisher on this right side. Well, Scott Parker knows well, having won promotion with Scott Parker with Bournemouth. Jack Stacey. He knew all about his attacking output. Down that right-hand side, Stacey. More than capable of delivering a cross or two. Fans never forget. Angus Gunn, once again being jeered, sends the ball out of play.
Yeah, I don't think Shane Duffy's done him any favours there. It's a terrible back pass, bobbling all over the place. Very sloppy.
I say fans never forget, Angus Gunn didn't do anything wrong, really. He was just in the way of Jaden Anthony and took the hit. There's Cullen. Bit of space on the far side for Roberts. Should he get to it? Of course he got to it. Now Edwards. He's left grounded. And the free kick goes the way of Norwich City.
It's a very strange incident. That's another yellow card for simulation. I presume the assistant referee is flagging. Looked a bit harsh, that one, I have to say. This is right in front of the assistant referee. I mean, there is a little bit of contact, so I think it's harsh to get a yellow card for simulation for that. I really do.
Yeah, the assistant referee did wave his flag immediately. Edwards booked. Only unbeaten in the last 28 games in the Championship. Again, to do that in this league is remarkable.
We're going to talk about that defence again, aren't we? They've only conceded one goal in the second half of that run, which is more than incredible, really.
Yeah, the goal scored by Kwadwo Bar of Watford.
Yeah, I didn't want to depress the watching Norwich fans, so I've kept it till now. Scott Parker's just having a word with Sam Allison, the fourth official there, about that yellow card for Marcus Edwards. I mean, it wasn't worthy of a yellow card.
Probably not too happy with the explanation, but taking it on board for now, Scott Parker. He has found himself in the stands a couple of times this season. And again, the Burnley fans just singing the word champions again. That is their aim, and right now they do look down on the rest in the Championship, with Leeds and Sheffield United still to go this weekend. Sheffield United at Plymouth Argyle tomorrow, which you can see live on Sky Sports. At the same time, Leeds host Preston North End on Sky Sports Plus. There's James Trafford, who's just over 20 minutes away from equalling an English Football League record of 29 league clean sheets in a season.
Should be illegal, shouldn't it?
Says the former striker. He'll be up there with Ray King of Port Vale and Jim Stannard of Gillingham, should he keep Norwich City out in the next 20 minutes or so. And as we mentioned earlier, the record in terms of team clean sheets is Port Vale. Back in 1953-54, that's 30, and Burnley will equal that if they keep Norwich out in the next 20 minutes or so. There's Borja Sights. It's had to change a lot. Johannes Hoff-Torup, when he moved from Danish football in the summer, saw a rebuild, change in style as well. They've lowered the average age of the squad, the wage bill as well. Ashley Barnes, of course, one of those to depart in January. I'm not saying he had the biggest wages, by the way, but he left to return to Burnley on the bench here tonight for the home team. They felt at Norwich they had to freshen things up last summer coming into this season. In terms of squad, in terms of style of play, in terms of all-round feel around the place, despite finishing in the top 6 last season. Hannibal gets the free kick. Pulling through the gap for Brownhill, who seeks out Zian Fleming, guns away from his goal. Fleming forced wide. The presence of Gunn forcing him wide. Cullen. Roberts. Sainz looking for a way out. And Sainz has found a way out. Nunez. Again, it was shot football from Burnley, which looked to have opened up Norwich.
Well, feels like the nerves have gone from the fans now, doesn't it? Game, the second half, just settled down.
Foul by Stacey on Perez.
Well, I'm with you, Jack. It looked very, very soft. Very soft. Aerial challenge, I suppose he has. There is a little push there, but not a lot.
Let's see him, Fleming. Well, Foster at the moment injured with that shoulder injury. He picked up against Derby on Tuesday and left the pitch in tears. Ian Fleming will be ineligible to face his parent club Millwall when they meet on the final day, and while Foster may not be back then either, so that could be interesting for Burnley, who do have Ashley Barnes as a backup. I wonder what will be on that on the final day for both Burnley and Millwall. Nunez. There's Fisher. Kenny McLean. Now Borja Sainz. That wonderful chance in the first half, but he couldn't take the opportunity. Josh Laurent will be coming on shortly for Burnley. We hear it will be Hannibal to make way. And Jeremy Sarmiento's arrival is imminent too. Marcus Edwards will leave the scene for him. Cordoba just about got to that before Edwards started to race away. Sargent's on his way here, just tipped it in behind Esteve. Esteve gets back goal side and stands his ground.
Well, again, the movement is excellent. When you're playing a team that's got a striker that's got that clever off-the-shoulder movement, doesn't half help.
Norwich City looking for a glimmer here, looking for a bit of hope here. Jacob Wright preparing to deliver this set piece. Cordoba dashes towards the near post and it has been bundled in. And that may just change everything here. Jack Stacey arriving. And Burnley have conceded. They have been hit at Turf Moor.
Well, this is a turn-up for the books because set pieces, certainly corners. I tell you, this is only the fourth corner they've scored. And it's simple, isn't it? It's into that front post area. Kenny McLean just glances it, maybe trying to score himself, but Jack Stacey on the move, anticipates it, and it's as easy as you like, and it's game on.
So no equalling of records tonight for James Trafford or for Burnley. They have been breached. And they are making the changes that they were planning to make. Hannibal's game is over. Marcus Edwards' night is over. Josh Laurent and Jeremy Sarmiento both come on. And they come on now with a different feel about this game. So 13 goals now conceded by Burnley in the Championship this season. Someone might be getting a fine. Still remarkable.
It is. It is.
Can Norwich get another one here?
Well, I don't want to worry Burnley fans, but this is the period of the game where Norwich do an awful lot of good work. Maybe felt like in here that Burnley had just weathered that little storm at the start of the second half, but maybe a few fingernails being bitten soon.
Well, the Burnley fans recognise that the players who play for them need them again here.
And the thing is, it's that running behind again. That's what brought the corner. Obviously, they scored from it, but without the running behind by Sargent, they don't get the corner. And I think that's something they need to do more of, this team. Certainly got the players to do it.
Hannibal being applauded as he makes his way around the Turf Moor pitch. It was Higgs' goal which got the ball rolling here tonight. Set a post as well. And now Norwich City are right back in the picture. Nunez has made the offer behind this time. A Esteve in the way. Cullen sticks out a boot. Sarmiento looking to get involved. That has gone straight to the feet of Jayden Anthony. Fleming's up there with him. Sarmiento arriving as well. Jayden Anthony steps into trouble.
Now, good defending. Stayed on his feet, Shane Duffy. Kept his eye on the ball.
Fans tell the players they're with them again as Norwich look to try and ruin Burnley's night here. Stacey, a pocket of space again. He goes in low and Trafford pounces.
That's the right idea. He just doesn't get the fizz on the ball that he's after. Lacks power, lacks pace. And he just doesn't get enough of the ball, really. Looking to become the first team to score more than one goal against Burnley this season. Norwich hasn't happened since the last game of last season.
Well, they've got time to save this. Risky from Cordoba. There's Sargent. Shake of the head from John Goodman away to my right.
I just can't believe what I've just seen, honestly. You cannot tell me the head coach is telling him to play passes like that.
Sarmiento, faced by Cordoba. Driving for the line, Anthony, and then Fleming setting himself. There's Perez. Now Cullen. Esteve. There's Brownhill. Egan Riley. It's Josh Laurent. Enjoying his football more than ever right now. It's Sarmiento. Fleming again, it's in a tight space. Again, he's surrounded. Norwich City looking for a way out, provided by Stacey, but again, there's the recovery runs that we've spoken about. This time it's Perez.
And listen to the appreciation from the home fans. Outstanding.
Double substitution imminent here from Norwich. Elliot Miles, the 18-year-old attacker, is about to come on. Oscar Schwartau as well. is stripped off and ready. Jack Wilshere dishing out the instructions. Here's Kenny McLean. We have seen it this season that this Norwich City team, when they're at full pelt, at full throttle, they're capable of tearing into any defence. Even this one of Burnley's. Fisher. Nunez. There's Cordoba. Sargent giving chase to this. Stacey's up there with him again. He's claiming handball there, Sargent. The referee not interested. Jadon Anthony. Nunez. There's Wright. He will be coming off shortly. Nunez. Cordoba. There's Nunez again. 7 minutes plus additional time for Norwich to try and break through Burnley again. It's Kellen Fisher that time. And deflects behind for a Norwich corner.
Moving the ball really, really well. I really, really like this Norwich team when they're in that middle third and the final third. It's when they're in their own defensive third that I struggle a bit with them.
Here come the changes then. Oscar Schwartau and Elliot Miles both coming on, and off goes Slimani and Jacob Wright. So Elliot Miles, 18 years of age, signed his first professional contract last year. He is on and right in the mix here. As Norwich City prepare to take this corner. Trafford being pinned on his line.
Well, he didn't like it. He's complaining to the referee, but it is part of modern football. Let's have a look. Jack Stacey's job, and he does it legally as well. Nothing wrong with that at all.
Only just 5 minutes away, plus additional time from going back to the top of the championship, with the rest to play this weekend, and then it's 4 to play. Fleming. Cordoba and Gunn leaving it to each other. They couldn't do that again if they tried. But again, they managed to get themselves out of a tight spot. There's Cordoba again. Stacey. Cordoba. And the fans trying to carry their team home here. Nunez. Now Stacey. Anthony back defending. Ashley Barnes is ready to come on. He was a Norwich player when these two met back in December on the bench that day. That Burnley back line to deal with. Aidan Riley does just that. And now Norwich get the free kick. More nerves around Turf Moor.
Keane, good skill. And Fisher.
The yellow card is on the way here. For who? We'll wait to see. It's Jack Wilshere, who is yellow carded. Some things don't change. So Wilshere booked. Norwich City with this free kick. And Trafford gets to it.
It's on Jack Stacey's head, but maybe doesn't realise it's not really under that much pressure.
Well, they've definitely had a bit more to think about in this second half of Burnley since Johannes Hoff-Torp made the change at half-time, bringing on Josh Sargent, taking off the third centre-back, changing back to the system that he does favour. There's Nunez. Now Sainz. Another Norwich free kick. Sainz feeling the effects of it.
Well, there is no time to be in pain. You have to get up.
Well, Ashley Barnes will be coming on shortly for Zian Fleming. But by the looks of it, not quite yet.
Defensive set piece, some coaches, most coaches actually, don't particularly want to change. It was a defensive set piece.
Can Norwich City save this? Whipped in with pace. And again, it was Egan Riley who met it. Norwich seeing out the season with these games against teams who have plenty to fight for. They will have a say in the fate of others. Sarmiento has bounced back to his feet. This is Nunez, so he finds the Burnley fans.
Yeah, well, he can hit them, we all know that. He goes for that technique with the front of the foot, which is arguably the most difficult, and gets it wrong.
So now comes the Burnley change. Zian Fleming is withdrawn, and Ashley Barnes, who left Norwich City to return to Burnley in January, he comes on. He is loved around here. Recently played his 300th game for Burnley, was given a shirt with 300 on the back for the occasion. Said he's contemplating taking down the picture of his kids in his living room and putting that up instead. I think he was joking. Oh, it's Ashley Barnes, you never know, right? We'll have 4 additional minutes. 4 nervy moments at Turf Moor. Forward by Kenny McLean. Sarmiento has made the offer here, but is unable to get to it.
Duffy stayed forward now. That's the reason why.
Yeah, he wins the flick. Sargent looking to pounce. Pires in the way. Referee's paid the advantage. Burnley would rather have the free kick, probably, and now they do get it.
Tell you what, it was a nearly moment, wasn't it? A Duffy flick to Josh Sargent.
And Josh Brownhill gesturing to the fans on this side of Turf Moor to make sure they raise the volume to see them home and see them back into top spot before Leeds and Sheffield United go this weekend. Burnley would be 5 points above Sheffield United as it stands. Again, you think back to that 2-point deduction for Sheffield United at the start of the season. How costly will that be, if at all? Joe Worrell ready to come on. Duffy gets his head on that again. There's Perez. 2 minutes to play. Joe Worrell, with note in hand, comes on to replace Jayden Anthony. Whose deflected effort right now is the winning goal.
Yeah, it's been another strong performance from Jayden Anthony.
Joe Worrell, who knows the way out of this league, having done it with Nottingham Forest. Look where they are now. He comes on. With note in hand, which he's handed to Coyle. He's ripped it up in record time. There's Kenny McLean. One big minute is on the way here at Turf Moor. It's another Norwich City free kick.
It's a very naive one from a very experienced player as well. He's going nowhere, Kenny McLean. What Josh Brown was thinking, I've no idea there. He's saying a little prayer here. Angus Gunn on his way up.
He is. Angus Gunn makes his way forward. An swinging free kick is coming the way here of Burnley. Angus Gunn right in the thick of it. Trafford though will try and get to it. And it's great hands under huge pressure from James Trafford, who wasn't too happy with Shane Duffy being in close attendance to him. Big catch.
Brilliant, brilliant take. Just when his team needed it the most.
Well, he's tried his best not to get on that championship roller coaster, as Scott Parker calls it. But he is living and breathing every single second here, as are they. A hug from Jayden Anthony, who's made his way back to the bench now. The summit is waiting.
I think the referee might give him another minute here, because there has been a lot of time wasting. There's been some substitutions.
There's Ashley Barnes trying to step away from Cordoba, who wins the duel, but Burnley aren't done yet. Now it's Sarmiento. Cordoba's there again. What can Norwich do on the counter-attack here with Sport out? Duffy stayed forward, he's still there. The ball aimed towards Stacey, who can't keep it in play. A huge cheer from the Burnley fans at Turf Moor. They've not been beaten here this season. That looks set to remain the case. But they are pleading for the final whistle here.
Yeah, well, they've only got themselves to blame, really. If it were role reversal, they would be wanting the extra time. They've taken so long to get the ball back in play from goal kicks and free kicks, and it's the right tactic, but the referees are going to add it on, that's all.
Burnley do what they had to do. They've done their bit. And they say to Leeds United and Sheffield United, it's over to you. What have you got? Burnley take back top spot in the Championship. A tense Turf Moor, but now Turf Moor celebrates. They've got the win, the pressure on the rest.
Yeah, it was a big night, wasn't it? Big, big night. And when you go first, you really have to win and put the pressure on. They've done their job. They will watch with bated breath now, no doubt, what happens tomorrow lunchtime.
Now the focus moves from East Lancashire to Yorkshire. Hannibal set Burnley on their way. He also struck a post as well. Jayden Anthony's deflected effort made it to Norwich City. Changed system, brought Josh Sargent on in the second half. It changed things for Norwich City. They gave Burnley more to think about, and Jack Stacey put Norwich back in this game, back in the picture. And the Ministry of Defence was breached, but Burnley hold on. It's finished Burnley 2, Norwich City 1.
Smiles all round on the Turf Moor pitch. That Turf Moor roar in full effect, given what the fans have seen here once again. 6 wins in the last 7 at home. They remain unbeaten here up in Lancashire. And there's some very, very happy fans indeed, because, as we've just seen, as Gary Weaver just said, back to the top of the Championship, and more importantly, 5 clear of Sheffield United in 3rd spot. Rob Green and Chris Iwelumo with us here in the studio. A huge statement win, Chris. They did what they normally do at home. The pressure was on, but they've laid the marker down for the rest of the weekend, haven't they?
Yes, they have. I think put the pressure on the other ones in the race, but professional performance. I think Scott Parker said before the game about managing the players, obviously protecting them a little bit, but they putting so much information to them so they can actually take it into the game. You know what you're going to get from Burnley side. Relentless, good in the ball. Norwich sat back, allowed them to kind of dominate with the game, but obviously getting that early goal, and then they just kind of kept on from there, confidence. And then you've seen the other side to it as well. Norwich came out, made more of it in the second half, and then you've seen that defensive quality as well, although they've been breached, but then they react well from that, take control of the game again, and like I say, could have got another couple of goals, to be fair.
They're very happy to protect a lead, Rob, aren't they? In the second half, just 1 shot from Burnley. Damage done in the first half. It's almost kind of over to you, defence. You do your job in the second. James Trafford, obviously, reliable as ever between the sticks. And once again, covering all the bases from a performance point of view.
It was really unremarkable in a professional way, wasn't it?
Yeah.
I'm not really selling it there as a performance, but it's what they do. And they got in front. They got the comfort of the second goal, which I think probably surprised Burnley fans a bit, to get that far in front, and then from there it's seeing out the game. You'd say it was a well-executed set-piece from Norwich, which was the slip, which we put it as from Burnley's point of view, but that man will be thrilled again, and it's talking about the emotional energy spent. It's another one knocked off. It's one where you're saying, actually, we didn't have to expend, 15, 20 minutes at the end, but other than that, we didn't have to expend too much emotional energy in this run-in.
No record equaling clean sheets. However, there is still time for that between now and the end of the season. A quick wave there from Scott Parker. Very happy indeed with his side's performance and result here tonight, which takes them back to the top of the table. Here's a chance to win £250,000. It's free to enter. Get your entries in by 3 o'clock tomorrow. Super 6 is back. Just predict the correct scores to those 6 fixtures. Masters action over on Sky Sports main event at Sky Sports. We've got Justin Rose as headed back to the clubhouse, 8 under, leading the way. Action from around the sporting world, live only here on Sky Sports. Tomorrow, the Bahrain Grand Prix qualifying, 4:10 for that one, and then the race from 2:30, both on Sky Sports F1. Gru and the gang return for more Minion mayhem as they must go on the run from a new nemesis. Despicable Me 4 is available now on Sky Cinema. The word nemesis being, ironically, my nemesis, trying to get that in one piece. Plenty for Rob and Chris to talk about here in the studio. Another stellar night for Burnley. Effectively going about the business. 6 wins in the last 7 at Turf Moor. They're back to the very top of the Championship.